We are Hubdrive. Our vision is to empower people and organizations in HR management.
Hello and welcome everybody to our webinar, OKR Objectives and Key Results in Dynamics 365. My name is Michael Dill. I will be your host for the next 30 minutes. Here you can see my personal data. You can connect with me. You can network with me via LinkedIn. You can write me an email, reach out to me. I will be happy to answer. You do not have to write my information down right now. You later on will get a recording of this webinar, and then you have the time to use the data as you like. Let us, as we only have 30 minutes, directly have a look at our agenda, what we are doing in this half hour. After me welcoming you, I want to hand over to our expert who's joining us today, Nina Raposo. She will guide you through the points 1 and 2. One is a theoretical introduction to OKR. We are doing this because of two reasons. One reason is we do not know at what state or what level you are when it comes to the knowledge about OKR. So you might have heard it for the first time and think it's interesting. You might be advanced in your knowledge. So we have to a little bit adjust those views here so that you know about our approach, and this is the second reason why we do this, our approach to OKR, because objectives and key results can be seen and done a little bit differently. It's not huge differences, but at least there are several approaches, and we of course want to show you our approach so that you can understand what we did later on also in the software. And this is the next point. This is the practical part where Nina will show you walk through with you through our solution to show you how we implemented the OKR module there. At the end, we will have a question and answer session. You can ask your questions from now on in the chat. Feel free to ask your questions there. At the end of the webinar, we will be glad to answer your questions. And when this webinar is over, you should have, it is the aim that you should have a first glance, of course, into our software, but also should have a first understanding of our approach to OKR, and you should know what the benefits are and how we implemented it. And you should be able to use this as a starting point to develop first ideas of how you want to use OKR in your company. And maybe you want to ask us, of course, for individual consultation afterwards, but we come to that later. Okay. That's my bit so far, and I'm happy to hand over to Nina. Nina.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, everybody. My name is Nina Raposo. I am the sales manager for the North American market here at Hubdrive, and I will also be your OKR expert for the evening. Just like with Michael, you can see my contact information here. Of course, we're always happy to hear from you, as well as putting your questions into the comments, so we'll try to answer them at the end of this session. First, let's talk about what objectives and key results, short OKR, is. Basically, it's a method of bringing together the company's management strategy with the individual goals for each employee, creating something that is very simple to implement, flexible, and transparent. Here's a typical company structure. You have the management at the top, underneath which it's divided into several teams or departments. And in each team or department are the individual employees. The management at the top sets forward the focus. So we're trying to align the corporate goals here with the mission statement, the vision, as well as the values of the company. And that is something that the management sort of dictates from the top to have their significant multi-year goals. It's sort of where the company is heading in the long term. Now, just in the middle, sort of the meat and potatoes of the program, if you will, are the qualitative objectives. These are for each department or teams. It is basically the question of where do I want to go and what do I want to achieve. So what I want to do in relationship to the corporate goals, the strategy. Next up, these are divided even further. If we ask, what are we doing with the objectives? We are asking, how are we doing it in the key results? These are quantitative, so they should be measurable metrics for each employee. It is up to each person to ask the question, what is the target result and how it can be measured? So as I discussed, the objectives come from the strategy, from the top down, but this whole thing is also supposed to work from the bottom up. So each employee has their own goal, define their own goal with the management, agrees to it, and what makes sense for him or her to do to feed into the objective that lies above. And these are for like the next 3 months, what's happening down here. And then on the top, the breakthrough goals are more long term. But how do we actually implement it in the business, in the day-to-day life? So because everybody has their own contribution here in the key results, the employees feel more motivated and they feel personal pride and ownership of the process and of the overall strategic mission of the entire company, which leads to everybody being happy because it's very clear, it's communicated, it is agreed upon what each person is supposed to do, and that's why they're all smiling here. So what does this mean? Each employee knows the measurable contribution to achieving the company goals. We have strong employee involvement. We have a high level of agile working methodology and high transparency. All of this is the purpose to have intense communication, not only between employees and their manager, but as well as beyond departmental lines and as well as the executive level. So everybody knows where we're going and we're going there together. Now, let's look at an example. The management decides we want to double our workforce. We want to grow the company from 25 to 50 employees. Normally, this is probably, in most cases, not going to happen in 3 months. So we will divide this up into smaller parts to work towards this goal of doubling the staff. In this case, the marketing department takes part of the equation. They decided what can they do in order to increase the employee number from 25 to 50. Well, they can organize 2 staff fairs. This would be the objective. The key result, that is, how are we going to do the what, which is the fairs. How are we going to do this? For example, the marketing assistant gets the assignment to design a booth for the trade fair, and that is her little part to feed into those goals to double the size of the company. But the marketing team is not working alone. On the other side here, we have the recruiting. The recruiting department has their own objective. It is to define open positions. What are they doing to double the size of the company in the next 3 months? Defining open positions. What's feeding into that is the key results. For example, the recruitment manager gets 2 key results in this example, which is 1, to publish 10 job description, as well as 2, conduct 10 job interviews. So everybody is working together to feed into the strategic goal, and these are the objectives and the key results we are working on for the next 3 months. Now let's look at this graphic. As I explained to you, the management develops the overall multi-year strategy based on the vision, mission, and value of the company. This is where the strategy comes from. These are the first 2 steps that we do once. And then it starts out with setting the breakthrough goals, the top level OKR planning, alignment, agile implementation, goal achievement, and after the 3 months, this is a 3-month cycle, we have some learnings and adaptation. We keep checking in and we measure these goals. How did it go? Did we achieve the goals? What is the next step in reaching these bigger goals that we have set for us? Here's another way to display this. For example, in my company, we have a weekly check-in with our OKRs. So each employee on Friday gets an email sent automatically, actually, to remind them to update their OKRs so that, for example, me and my manager can talk about are these reasonable? How am I on track? Should we adjust them? What can we do? How can I be supported in reaching my personal goals? So we're always in the previous quarter here planning ahead. It's also at the end, there is a retrospective, an assessment and a learning, but you're always looking ahead. You're always planning ahead beyond, and you always have in mind what's happening beyond the 3 months, which is that breakthrough goal, that corporate strategy that is aligned as well with the vision, mission, and the value. So because we keep getting feedback, it keeps us communicating with each other and being transparent, and everything is very clear what we're doing. Now we have developed this OKR module to extend the Microsoft Dynamics 365 business platform. So the solution that I am going to show you now is fully integrated. OKRs in general can help what we discussed, connect vision, just as a review, mission and strategy with short-term goals and operational planning. So what are we doing today to reach these long-term goals? We can create clarity about the most important tasks in the company, find the focus for coming quarter, next 3 months. We can decide the right use of scarce resources. So we want to not waste resources. We want to be very precise and communicate about what we're doing, establishing better communication, and we create transparency for employees so they assess their contribution. Everybody knows their own contribution to the company's success. That's kind of an overview, and these are kind of the points we're trying to make here, how we see OKRs at Hubdrive. Now let's go live into the solution, the very exciting part. I am super excited to show you this latest module that we have available here from Hubdrive, the objectives and key results. So we're just gonna open this up. This, as I said, like it seamlessly fits into the Dynamics 365 business platform, so it goes right into the rest of our solution. Just gonna adjust this here real quick. There we go. Okay, so you open it up. Here are the dashboards. We'll get back to that just in a little bit. I'm logged in as Haley Miller. She is our HR manager here at our fictional company that we use as an example. We'll start over here. So as you can see, here are the strategic goals on the top, then there is the objectives, and underneath the key results. So it's just as we've showed it to you in the PowerPoint presentation, you have your strategic goals here. You can see who owns them. You can see the progress. The confidence, that's another very important thing. We always update, like every Friday, I update how confident I am in reaching each particular key result so that I can sort of get some feedback from our manager, how feasible it is and where we're going and how we are on target on reaching the goals. Now, we have 3 strategic goals here because 3 of them are approved and the last one was just an idea. Next, on the next level, we get to the objectives. Now, this is going to show here my active objectives. So these are all, owner is all Haley Miller here. And you could go ahead and drop down this menu and you can see there are many other things, like you can look at all the active objectives, you can look at all the objectives, the ones for the next quarter, the last quarter, this quarter. So, and whichever you want to set here as a default, you can always totally customize this entire solution yourself. Here we have the goal, increase the number of employees. That's also one we talked about in the example. So we'll just click on the hierarchy here on the left, just to dive into it a little bit deeper. We have here the main goal, increasing the number of the employees. And underneath, you will see these 4 items. And you have 2 visualizations. You have this nice visual over here, as well as this tree here. So you can imagine that if because this is just a demo version, so we have input limited data, but if you have a huge company and you have many goals, this could get very long. So you could close this to make it easier to look. Maybe if there are other goals here, you can look at everything like that. Also, if you click on one of these, it will highlight the corresponding field over here, as well as have some basic information here, like who owns it, how much progress, what it is that we're doing. And here, for example, you can see that this guy, Ethan Carter, he owns 3 of these goals, and Haley Miller owns 1. So this is actually several departments working together, like in our example. So we'll go back to this place right here. So we were looking at the strategic goals. Now we looked at the objectives, including the hierarchy view. And I'm just going to jump right to the key results, which is the smallest unit, so to speak. So here we have set the default to my active key results. So these are Haley Miller's key results, but you could also set something else as a default, all key results for a specific quarter, inactive ones, etc. So let's look at this one. We actually have which year, when we started it, it's all agreed because there's always an agreement from the person who is responsible for the goal. So they really feel like they're participating and have a say in where the company is going. So this one is roll out OKRs for all employees. There's actually 100% process. So Haley has managed to roll out OKRs for all the employees. You see the progress bar right here. She would move this each time she's making progress, as well as the confidence level. So each time Friday comes around, she would update this. It also tells you the objective, which is implementing OKRs for the entire organization. And then this is a primary goal of reaching 30 million euros in sales. And yeah, it's agreed. So it also shows you the date here. And then this is very cool. Like it shows you this chart. Like, so if this wasn't complete yet, you know, you would be over here somewhere. And you could also open this up actually, and then see a table. All of these data can basically be displayed in any which way you please. You can even use Power BI in this whole system. So here you can see each date that Haley has updated and how the progress was going. And if you don't like to look at the chart line by line, you can also look at this visual. And as you can see, as I'm hovering over this, it's just very interactive and easy to see. There could be a description here as well. But because she is 100% done with her rollout of OKRs for all employees, we are now going to celebrate this by coming up here and deactivating, because it has been accomplished. So it says status accomplished. You could also say not achieved or canceled. But in this instance, we can celebrate ourselves, or Haley can celebrate herself and her company and her team because she has reached her goal. And that's how you deactivate it. So we'll just have a brief look at the homepage now. This is where you're going to find all the dashboards. It's just processing right now. So the whole system, it's like totally interconnected. And so it basically updated everywhere where this was in. It is now deactivated, and here's read only. So you can't move, like now you can't move the bar anymore because this is done, but it's still saved. So we'll go back to home or the dashboards, which is home. In this case, it's home. So it will take us right there, same thing. These are the overviews. So we have a couple of things here that we want to look at. First, we have the objective global overview. And then we also have the key results global overview. And we'll look at monitoring. So let's start here. Basically, we have the objectives. We have active objectives in this quarter by owner. So you can see how, your people here and how many each of them has assigned to them. And then you can also see the active objectives this quarter by department, for example, as well as just underneath. And of course, if you don't like this view, you can switch it around. You can customize this however you like. So just underneath, we have the objectives. So next quarter, that's what we just put here out of the box. And then that's by owner again, owner. And here for next quarter by department. And then if you go to the key results, you'll see something like a similar view. Here you have the key results this quarter by owner, as well as the active key results this quarter by departments. And you could, open this up and drill down and look at everything like that. So then we go to monitoring. So this is really useful if you have like a manager and he wants to look at how things are going, And for example, this says active key results monitoring ideas started in the past, which is like an interesting way to keep everything transparent and kind of keep track of things, because sometimes you think, oh, that would be a good idea, and then you end up like not doing it. And sometimes this has happened to me in my professional life, like you keep having the same idea and like, I don't know, sometimes the institutional memory is gone, so people don't really remember, like we've already talked about and agreed against it. So here you keep track, because all of the ideas that weren't really put into place, maybe we said, oh, let's hold on to this for the future, or maybe we didn't, agree on it for one reason or another. There was some reason why we didn't actually implement the goal. So you could put that in the description, so you don't keep discussing the same thing. It could, you can see there's only 3 here, but this is unlimited, right? So we go back home. Now on the very first landing page here with the objective global view, right? So let's look at one more thing here. If you go down to active objectives this quarter, for example, just to show you like the drill down function for a second. You have everybody's, in this very small company, you have everybody's objectives here. But if you wanted to just look at, for example, Ethan Carter's, just one person, you just go ahead, you click on this, and it just updates here on the right side for you. So it's a little bit easier to sort of look at and not get lost in so much data. This is very easy for you to manage the software. I literally have a liberal arts degree, and I learn to use this program in 3 days. So it's very user-friendly. It's super intuitive. You see the progress right here. You see the parent objective. You see the primary goal. You see the title. You could open up the hierarchy. And as you can see, this little box came up here. So you could, you can even drill this down further. Progress, department, description, created by, created on, etc., as well as the chart type. So if you don't like these kind of charts, you make it a pie chart, whatever you want this to be, you can use it in that way. So that will end for now our live demonstration. We are, of course, looking forward to any and all questions you have. I also just want to briefly show you how that email you would get every Friday is like a friendly reminder. It's a productivity tool from Microsoft where you directly get this is an actual email here from my manager to your inbox. And look at this, there's hyperlinks in here. So you can just click on the one that you want to update. Takes you right to the program. You can do that in the browser. You could use this whole program in solution in Teams as well. Same functionality. So we are very excited. I hope you are excited too. We are the only ones to offer the OKR for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Platform, totally seamlessly integrated. So you can get this from us. You can activate your site in just a few steps. We'd love to hear from you. We'll give you the contact in just a minute. But first, I believe there are a couple of questions. So I'll just hand it over to Michael and we'll get on with that. So thank you for your attention and joining on us tonight.
Thank you, Nina. Nina, thank you for the walkthrough and for all the explanation. I think you get a really good impression of how we see OKRs and what benefits we have, and how we implement that in our software. When Nina says this evening, she means the German evening, because here we are about to enter into the evening. So I guess it's not the case for you, but that doesn't matter. It's not so important. I just wanted to let you know. There would be so much more we could talk about OKRs. So the percentage of achieving level, when it is good, when it's not good. So there that many things are KPI based, but Nina mentioned that. And for example, also that OKR does not replace communication and processes. You need structure, you need sure fixes, you need your dailies, or you need kickoffs, even across departments. Only having this tool doesn't guarantee you a constant communication, but it's a great opportunity, because it really invites you to communicate, right? And it sees, because everybody knows what your goal is, and or what their goal is, and they also know your goals, because at least we do it here, because it's so transparent, and that's really good and opens the doors for communication. Okay, looking at the time, let's go directly into the questions. Thank you for posting these. Gaia wants to know, yeah, of course, we will record the session and we'll share the recording later on. You will get an email from us, and I will talk about that in a minute when we answer the other questions. Can you explain the bottom-up strategy again? Nina, can you do that once more?
Yes, so it's basically the strategy is put in place by the management from the top down, but it's not just coming from the top, it's also everybody in the company working together. It's sort of like the foundation, the base of the pyramid is all the people that work in the company, and each individual person has their little Lego piece to sort of contribute and also feel ownership of the strategy and of the strategic goals. So they know exactly what they're contributing. It's very transparent, it's communicated, and there's no questioning like, I'm doing X For example, in our example, designing the booth for the fair, I'm designing the booth for the fair because the marketing team is having the fair because we want to double the amount of employees. So everybody knows exactly why they're working from the bottom to the top. Yeah. Towards that overall goal.
Yeah, thank you, Nina, for that. I mean, you can also have it look like this, for example. You have the experts, right, in the departments, and it would be great if you ask the experts what would be the best way to achieve our objectives. Maybe they have the answer because you hired them for that reason. So at least it should be that way. So it's really how we do it that we, of course, we can have as a supervisor, you can have a suggestion or something like that. But in best case, that's why it's also bottom up. The idea comes from the expert. Mindy wants to know who defines the objectives and key results. I think that's what we just explained. On the one hand, of course, you have the goals. That's what Nina said, and the breakthrough goals, and you have the objectives for the departments, and then the key results are made up out of this, and in best case, made up by a team member together with his supervisor, or by many team members also, so they can define that. Okay. Adrian wants to know, is the progress of an objective the sum of the progress of the key results? Nina.
Yes. Oh, am I muted? Nope. So yeah, I said so much and I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Yeah. So as you're moving the progress bars of the individual key results, it actually adds up and it makes up the objective. So that's just one less thing you have to worry about because it's automatically done. We make this process super easy for you, so you can focus on running your business smoothly every day.
Perfect. And the last question is from Gaia. Does this module link to the talent and performance module? I mean, this it's not linked in that way. I mean, it's you could use it as a part of a review, but there's no direct link because it's an own app, you know, and that's apart from this module that runs apart from this module. So it's not directly linked in that case, as you maybe mentioned, maybe wanted to know in this case. So they're two different and individual apps at this point. Because this the reason at the moment, definitely because talent, as we see talent, is something or different than an objective and then the strategy itself. Yeah, so when you're talking about talent, development and stuff like that, that could be something different. But we are happy to if you later want to talk to us, Gaia, we are happy to hear from you how you could think of an integration and why. So no problem about that. So I think we're at the end of the questions. Thank you for your participation. Thank you, Nina, at this stage for guiding us through all those points. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please contact us. You see here the address, sales@hubdrive.com. Please reach out to us. We will write you tomorrow on Monday. We will write you an email, or we'll send you an email with a recording of this session. And also we will ask for feedback within this email. And of course, you will get the address where you can reach out to if you have any questions. So please feel free. We're happy to help you there and to maybe go on for the next steps. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nina, once again. And have a great day. And we will have a great evening ahead. Bye-bye.